The first generation of Mustang, the namesake of the pony car automotive segment, was produced by Ford from 1964 until 1973. The Mustang was officially released in April of 1964. Several changes were made before the release of the 1965 model in August of 1964, and purists still call these original April releases 1964 and a half Mustangs, with the August releases being called late 65 models. They were originally released on the Falcon chassis, with most of the parts being borrowed from models already in production. The aforementioned changes before the 1965 production year included the addition of backup lights, replacing generators with alternators, and upgraded engines. The original Mustang was available in convertible and notchback styles, with the fastback joining the lineup for the late 65. These Mustangs were known for their long hood and short deck. Ford had planned for 100,000 first-year sales, but the Mustang was so popular that dealers sold 22,000 on the first day. Total sales at the end of the first year were 681,000, almost 7 times Ford's projections. By March 1st of 1966, Ford had already built the millionth Mustang. The original lineup included 101 horsepower, 2.8-liter, 170 cubic inch straight six in the 64 and a half. Then it was enlarged for the late 65 to the 3.3-liter, 200 cubic inch straight six. The V8 options for these were a 4.3-liter 260 V8 and a 4.7-liter 289 V8, with between 200 and 271 horsepower depending on the carburetor and configuration. In 1967, the Mustang grew to allow for a big block 6.4-liter 390 FE V8 that produced 265 horsepower. For racing, Ford offered a 7-liter 428 Cobra Jet V8 that produced 335 horsepower. Because of U.S. safety regulation, the 1967 introduced an energy-absorbing steering wheel and column, 4-way emergency flashers, and a dual-circuit hydraulic braking system. The 1968 models received revised side scoops, steering wheel, and gasoline cap. Side marker lights were also added that year, and cars built after January 1, 1968 included shoulder belts for both front seats on coupes. The 1968 models also introduced a new 302 designed with federal emissions regulations in mind. In '69, Ford dropped the 289 and added a 5.8-liter V8 with 250 or 290 horsepower. New models included the Mach and Boss editions. The Boss 302 was built to meet Trans Am racing regulations, while the Boss 429 put the 7-liter 375 horsepower 429 engine into street use as required by NASCAR rules. Another model from the 1969 was the luxury model known as the Grande, which sold over 22,000 units. But the 1969 Mustang E is the rarest Mustang because only 50 units were produced. 1970 saw a restyling that included a return to single headlights moved inside the grille openings. The rear fender air scoops were removed and taillight panel was flattened. For 71, the Mustang was even bigger, but emissions rules were getting more strict and Americans were moving away from muscle cars, so engine choices were changing too. The 6-cylinder was enlarged to a 4.1-liter 250. The 429 big block was gone for 72, leaving the 351 as the biggest engine. In 72, a commemorative Olympic Sprint edition was released between March and June, with 50 additional Sprint convertibles produced exclusively for the National Cherry Blossom Festival parade in D.C. In 73, the coupe weighed 3,600 pounds, which is 1,200 pounds more than the 65. Sales had been declining, dropped to less than 300,000 in 69 and fewer than 200,000 in 70. To reverse the trend, Ford shrank the Mustang for the second generation, which it called the Mustang II, and based it on the subcompact Pinto platform. It worked, and sales rocketed to 386,000 for 1974.